And welcome. Thank you to everybody for joining us.
And welcome. Thank you to everybody for joining us. And welcome. Thank you to everybody for joining.
Apologies for that. I forgot to mute my tab. Right. After this wildly professional start, first a note of apology. We are unable to do tonight's scheduled programming, which was to be Those Dark Places, because unfortunately Luke has had a last minute thing which got in the way, and I think the rest of us agreed that it would be easier to complete that game if he wasn't there. It turns out we all succeeded and won, and therefore there's no more to see. So, in his absence, and obviously our best wishes to Luke, we have leapt up to take on the challenge of a classic fighting fantasy game book, The Island of the Lizard King. This is again from my sort of childhood bookshelf. This was published in 1984, and I don't think I've played it since 1984. I can't remember anything about it, but it is a fighting fantasy game book, so the format's fairly familiar. 3 stats, and we're good to go. My comrade in arms in the top right of your screen is Ewan. How are you this evening, Ewan?
I'm very good, thanks, Ben. I was a little bit upset, obviously, that Luke's not here, but then you promised me a tropical island vacation, and my mood's drastically improved. Where are we going again?
The Island of the Lizard King. It's. I mean, everything about it sounds good to me.
Yeah, definitely. Fun times.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be wonderful, and in no way will it be any trouble or difficulty.
No.
I was just saying, I just glanced at the instructions for the players, and to my slight surprise, we're allowed 10 provisions, each of which restore 4 stamina points. So that can't be a bad sign at all. That means the food is lavish.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's going to be brilliant and not remotely like the Fire Festival.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So apologies if you're expecting Those Dark Places. We pulled this together at very short notice, and I think I speak for Ewan as well when I say we're uncomfortable with the word hero. But we are nonetheless happy to step in and do our part and, and put out something in a slightly less organised way than is required for an actual RPG. So, Island of the Lizard King. The first thing we need to do is generate our characters. If you haven't done one of these with us before and you can't remember how the system works, don't worry, it's very, very simple, I promise. So, each of our characters has 3 basic stats: skill, stamina, and luck. To make your character up, therefore, you need to roll some dice. 1d6 plus 6 is your skill value. So let's start with that. That's not bad. 5. So 11 to start with.
It's a 4 for me, which is still above average.
Mm-hmm.
Feels good.
Stamina 2d6 plus 12. Good evening, Sparrow. Thank you for joining us.
Less good at a 6.
I got an 8 total, so that's 20.
Hey, stamina's never a problem, right?
Never a problem. You never run out of that.
On this island.
And luck is 1d6 plus 6 again. And this time I did well. That's 12.
And me.
Brilliant. However, now's the bad news, because these are designed to be solo games, so in order to knock us down a peg or two, we now have to subtract 4 points from wherever we like on those stats to make us a bit weaker.
Every time I forget this, man.
Yeah. So my new starting value for stamina is going to be 16.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2 off luck and 2 off stamina.
Okay.
So 10, 16, 10 is my total.
So we each get 10 provisions, and when we use one, which we can do any time we like out of combat, it restores 4 stamina points, and we each get a potion. There are potions of skill, which restore your skill up to its full value, potions of strength, which restore your stamina up to its full value, and potions of fortune, which restore your luck up to its full value, and, neatly, add 1 to your initial, your maximum luck as well, which is always useful. However, we can only have 1, because experience has taught me a few things. I'm going to go with a potion of fortune.
See, I normally like to mix things up a little bit, but we're on holiday. It's a lovely island vacation.
Absolutely.
Relax and just do the same as you, Ben.
Excellent stuff. It'll come in handy when we're gaming in that glorious casino just off the beach.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So with that done, we are ready to begin. Yes, the equipment list is pretty basic. Sword, leather armour, and a backpack. Okay. So,
Nice.
Background. Oyster Bay is a quiet fishing village some 60 miles down the coast from the notorious Port Blacksand. Because it is at the end of a long peninsula, reached only by steep and winding path, the fishermen and their wives are left to lead a simple but content life, away from the monsters and sorcery of the hinterland. Journeying south from Fang, you decide that you could do with a few days' rest, and knowing of no more peaceful place than Oyster Bay, you're right, it's definitely going to play out that way.
Holiday destination.
Yeah. You urge your horse towards the coast. Besides, an old adventuring friend of yours called Mungo lives there, and it's been years since you last saw him. 2 days later, you arrive at the edge of the cliffs overlooking Oyster Bay. It is a beautiful sunny morning, and everything looks tranquil below. Nothing seems to have changed. The cluster of stone cottages nestles between the foot of the cliffs and the jetty, where a dozen fishing boats lie at anchor. You jump off your horse and walk down the winding path to the village. The first people you see are a group of crying women. As you approach them, several men step out of a cottage and run towards you. One of the 4 is your old friend Mungo. His weather-beaten face is full of anger. He looks surprised to see you, but wastes no time with words of welcome. He recounts the sad events that have befallen the village. Having no gold or material wealth, the people of Oyster Bay thought themselves safe from raiders attacking their village. But several weeks ago, while most of the men were out at sea, the lizard men of Fire Island, it is the Fire Festival, landed their boats in Oyster Bay and kidnapped several young men. Mungo believes that they are now enslaved on Fire Island and working in chain gangs in the gold mines. Since the kidnapping, 2 men were left to guard the village while the rest went out to fish. Despite this, the lizard men attacked again this very morning, overpowering the guards and taking away more young men. Mungo tells you he's about to set sail for Fire Island alone, because the other fishermen are too scared to set foot on the island. He stares at you in silence until you smile and say that you will aid him in his quest. He slaps you on the back and shakes your hand in gratitude. For the moment, the poor fishing folk forget their grief and crowd round you, eager to thank you. Mungo then invites you to dine with him and rest a while, as the voyage to Fire Island will take several hours. Over a delicious feast of boiled lobster and salad, you discuss your plans. Mungo tells you that he does not think that humans live on Fire Island any longer, but his knowledge is fairly limited. There are just rumours that pass between fishermen from other coastal villages. However, it is known that Fire Island used to be a prison colony, guarded by a tribe of paid lizard men. This was a rather futile attempt by Prince Olaf to rid his land of undesirable characters. The good prince soon learned that it would have been simpler to put his lawful citizens on Fire Island and leave the evildoers on the mainland. There were just too many of them. He gave up his attempt and abandoned the prison colony. When the lizard men received no pay, They took their vengeance out on the prisoners, and the island became a place of terror, ruled by a lizard man prison guard who proclaimed himself king. The prisoners were forced to dig mines in the hope of finding gold for the Lizard King. They were underfed and ill-treated, and many died. That is presumably why the Lizard King is sending out his men to find new slaves. It is known that in order to assert his authority, the Lizard King began practicing voodoo and black magic. He also started genetic experiments in an attempt to breed an invincible race of lizard men. Most of the experiments went wrong. Grotesque mutants were created, and some of the harmful potions found their way into the water drains with terrible consequences. The local flora and fauna were affected, with the result that man-eating plants developed and giant beasts evolved. A few of the prisoners managed to escape the island on rafts and were picked up by fishermen, but what has happened in the last few years, nobody knows. Fire Island had almost been forgotten until the recent raids. Success in your quest to assassinate the Lizard King and rescue the kidnapped victims is doubtful, but you must try. You stand up and walk down to the jetty with Mungo, stepping aboard his small fishing boat. In the sight of cheering villagers, you untie the boat and push out to sea, wondering if you will ever return. Okay.
Wow.
That's the setup.
Let this be a warning to everybody watching that if Ben ever promises you a nice tropical island vacation for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
there's bound to be mutants. And that's the best case scenario. You know, if it had succeeded, we'd be looking at invincible lizard men, which, to be fair, sounds pretty tough.
Yeah. I'm not entirely on board with the giant creatures and man-eating plants thing.
Yeah. But at least we got a lobster dinner out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which sounds quite nice, to be fair.
The boiled lobster and salad. Yeah, it does sound nice, doesn't it? Bit of bisque, job done.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So, page 1. Mungo's years with the fishermen of Oyster Bay have made him a skillful boatsman. He swiftly hoists the sail of the small boat and sets a course due west across the silvery blue sea. The land soon recedes into the distance, and you sit back on the deck relaxing in the afternoon sunshine. From the stern you hear merry whistling, the creak of the rudder, and Mungo occasionally calling out to a seabird passing overhead. You think about the good times you used to have with Mungo, his constant cheerful nature and willingness to help people in need. You find it difficult to believe that so much evil exists in the land when there live the likes of Mungo. As the hours drift by, you talk and laugh, trying to ignore the dangers ahead. Mungo is always one to tell a tale, and he's now telling you about his father and how he used to work in a travelling circus. He was a big man, big as a mountain, laughs Mungo, and he would do just about anything for a paying crowd. Wrestle trolls, have elephants stand on him, and he'd even let a killer bee sting him. He was a tough old customer, but he finally met his match in the north. The circus was in Fang, as one of the attractions during the festivities surrounding the Trial of Champions, and my father decided on a whim to enter. He walked into Death Trap Dungeon, spoiler alert, and alas, was never seen again. He was really too old for such an ordeal, although there was no telling him that, but at least he tried. Just as Mungo is about to tell you his next tale, he jumps up and shouts, "Land ahoy!" at the top of his voice, as though he were yelling the news to the crew of a galleon. You look to where he's pointing and see Fire Island in the distance. The island sits on the sea like a green cushion, with a jagged mountain protruding from it. Smoke gently curls up from the top, a volcano's fuming anger waiting to explode. Mungo steers the boat towards a small inlet at the eastern tip of the island, hoping it will remain concealed between the high rocks. You both put on your backpacks and clamber out of the boat to begin your quest to find the Lizard King. If you wish to scramble around the rocks to the beach in the cove up to your left, turn to 24. If you wish to clamber over the rocks on the other side of the inlet to the beach in the cove to your right, turn to 33. Socks, good evening. And Diesel Shot, hi. Yes, a change in our schedule programming. Apologies, we're doing Fighting Fantasy tonight. Island of the Lizard King. So at this point, we basically have a left or right choice.
We do indeed. Socks seems to think that a cove is a door.
A cove is a door.
I'm not
Okay.
entirely behind the whatever logic led to that.
I believe that. It's just that there's a cove to the left and a cove to the right.
Yeah, and we're heading west, aren't we? Which I don't know if that messes up our usual. I forget which wall we normally follow. These ones where we've got overland maps always throw me out a bit.
So, yeah, we landed on the east of the island.
Yeah.
So I guess left and right are north and south?
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't mind. Your choice, Ben. Let's kick us off.
Well, for traditional reasons, let's go sort of north. So turn right, 33.
Yeah. Cool.
Because we usually set off heading up a map, don't we?
Yeah, we do indeed.
33. You soon reach the beach, but duck back down behind the rocks when you see what is happening on it. A rowing boat has been dragged onto the beach, obviously by the 6 pirates who are standing around a large chest. You look at Mungo and discuss what to do. You can attack the pirates, or climb back to the inlet over the beach to the other cove. Oh, what do you think?
Let's attack the pirates.
Attack the pirates. Get the violence underway quickly.
Straight out the gate.
Yep.
I fear.
It's a good job there are 6 of them. Okay. Turn to 340. Okay. You draw your swords and run down onto the beach, hoping to catch the pirates off guard. You manage to cut down 2 before they're able to draw their cutlasses. And then you each fight 2 of the remaining 4 at the same time. If that makes sense. So there are 2 of us in the book as well as 2 of us in reality. Because we have a Mungo who's backing up one of us. So it's now 4 pirates, having cut down 2. So in the book, we're offered 2 to fight. Now, I am tempted to say what we should probably do, in fairness, is duplicate the 2 pirates and each of us take on 2.
Yeah, that feels in spirit of how it's written.
Yeah, because effectively, if we were playing alone, we'd have to fight 2. So let's double them up and fight 2 each.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
So the first pirate is skill 7, stamina 7. And the second pirate is skill 8, stamina 6.
Cool.
Yep, time to lick pirates. So, let's give it a shot. My first attack, I've got skill 11. Do this the other way round, it'll be easier this side. So that's a 9 is a 20. I don't actually need to roll for the first pirate. He's, not going to get a lick in. But the second one might. Nope. Afraid not. So the first one is down to 5 stamina. I attack again. That wasn't good. That was a 5. So I've managed a total of 16. First pirate 10, 17. That's 2 off. Second pirate 7, 15. So one of them hits me. So I am down to 14. Time for lunch. That's better. That's a 9. 20. Don't need to worry about the first one. He's definitely taking the hit. Second pirate doesn't intervene. So that's down to 3. Oh, God. Bad roll again. A 4. Still good enough for the first pirate. And the second. Terrible rolls. Okay. So that's him down to 1. Now 5, 16. That won't do it. I'm hit by the first pirate. And the second. I'm down to 10.
This could be a very short stream, people.
This could be very short, yes. That's a bit better. But the first pirate has done even better. But thankfully the second one didn't also get a lick in, so I'm down to 8. However, I have... That's not too bad. Okay, first pirate's down. Second pirate didn't get a hit in. So, now it's 1-on-1. Second pirate is skill 8, stamina 6. How's your fight going?
I actually haven't started. I was going to talk through it once you were done.
Okay.
I can do.
No, it's fine. Right. I've actually got better skill and stamina than him, so I should be okay in theory. And that's a good start. That's a 12. So he can't touch me there. That's him down to 4. And that's a 3. So he definitely can beat me there. But not with that. So he's down to 2.
Nice.
Another 3 for me. That's a total of 14 again. But a 5 plus a 6 for him is 11. Second pirate is down without landing a touch on me. So, my 2 are dealt with.
Wonderful.
So yours are same as mine. Skill 7, stamina 7, and skill 8, stamina 6.
Perfect. And I'm beating their skill rolls, in theory. Perfect. My first one, I rolled a 3, which is 13, which isn't great. And then rolled an 11 for that pirate.
Right.
Do we take one roll, they both roll?
They both roll, yeah. If you beat both of them, you only get to knock 2 off the one you were attacking.
Yeah.
But they could theoretically both beat you, and you could lose 4 stamina in a single hit.
Yes. So the second one then rolls an 8 and also beats me, and I lose 4 stamina in a single hit, as stated. And we'll hope for a better second roll, which is much better with an 11. To bring to 21 on my skill. The first one gets a 4 for an 11, and the second gets a 7 for a 15. Which way were you doing it? Were you just knocking it off the first pirate first?
I went first pirate first. I mean, logically, I should probably have gone for the other one because he had slightly better skill.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about that at the time.
Well, I'll follow suit. So the first one's down to 5. Then I rolled a 9 for 19. And the second pirate does not equal that with a 7. Sorry, the first pirate. And neither does the second with an 8 for 16. So I'll carry on chipping away at the first. And my next roll is 10 for a 20. Which I think it does put me out of reach for the first one. But not the second, though the second rolled an 11, which is good.
Right.
But not enough. Which takes them to 19. So we'll knock off the first one again, who is now down to 1. That's an 8 for an 18 for me. 6 for a 13 for the first. And an 8 for a 16 for the second.
Okay.
So I will get rid of that first pirate. Call me out if I'm doing this wrong at any point, Ben, by the way. That's another 9 for a 19 for my skill.
Good.
And the second pirate got a 7 for a 15. So they are down to 4. That's not so good. That's it's average. It's a 7 for a 17. And a 9 for a 16. So So they're down to 2.
Yeah.
I think I've got rather lucky after that first initial terrible roll. And then rolled an 11, which puts me out of reach. So they are gone. And I'm done.
Excellent stuff. Right, I'm immediately going to have some provisions.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 10, so I'm probably going to do the same to take me back up to max. Totally makes sense.
I'm going to have to eat 2 provisions. So when they give you, yes, so you're right. Ewan's massive gremlin murder was a good thing. Yes.
Only made funnier by chat turning them into a loving family of gremlins.
That's right. I'm going to go for 2 provisions, which is enough to get me back up to my 16 top stamina.
Yep.
So when they gave me 10 provisions, it sounded really generous, and now our very first scuffle on the very first go has already cost me 20% of my food. Right. Says,
I'm sure there'll be more food available.
Yes.
Lobster galore.
Much more lobster, yes. If you defeat them both, turn to 61. Yes, we did. We obliterated them. Time to turn to 61. You look around to see Mungo fighting the last remaining pirate, the captain. Before you can help him, the captain lunges forward, piercing poor Mungo through the chest. He lets out an anguished cry and drops to the golden sand in a crumpled heap. The captain turns to face you, a grotesque sneer on his face, distorted by a long black scar running down the left side. You charge at the captain, seeking to avenge Mungo. Okay. We've lost Mungo.
That was... I mean, he clearly didn't have 10 provisions with him.
He obviously didn't. I feel he was under-provisioned and also doomed to die the moment we went with him onto the island, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, the pirate captain is skill 10 and stamina 6.
Blimey.
I guess we both attack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
My attack was an 8, so that's a total of 19.
And mine is a 2, which is a total of 12.
He's done a 12 plus 10 is a total of 22. So he's hit one of us. Let's find out which one. You want to be odds or evens?
I'll be odd.
Okay.
Makes sense.
It's me. So he lands a hit on me. I've just finished eating.
No swimming or sword fighting 20 minutes after a meal.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Okay, let's go again.
Cool.
That's a 9 plus 11 is 20 for me.
Mine is a 5 plus 10 is 15.
And he's done a 7 plus 10 is 17. Let's find out who he went for. He went for me. So, thankfully, I have wounded him.
Nice.
And that's knocked him down to just 4. Okay. Next up. 8 plus 11 is 19.
Mine's a 5, which makes 15.
It's going to be enough. He rolled a 3. So we both hit him, and he is done.
There was me worried that my poor luck was going to leave this one entirely up to you. They will be going in my dice rehab soon. And we've avenged Mungo.
We have, yes. It says, The sand all around Mungo is red with blood. You kneel down beside him and gently lift his head in your arms. His eyes open a little and he manages a half smile despite his agony. In a whisper he says, "Well, we got them, but a lot of good it did me. Make sure you get the Lizard King for me, won't you?" Then his eyes close and he slumps down dead. You bury him on the beach near the cliff, marking the grave with his sword skewered into the sand. You see a narrow goat track leading up the side of the cliff, and then look back at the chest lying on the beach. If you wish to walk up the goat track, or open the chest. I feel chests have doors, right?
Yeah, a chest is like a door. It's on a different plane.
Yeah. Okay, well then we have to open the chest. It's 398.
Wonderful. Just for anyone watching the first one, I'm going to skip out all of these intermittent numbers. Otherwise, the map will become quickly even more illegible than it will be in a few minutes.
398. You prise open the chest and are surprised at its contents. Iron bars. The captain must have tricked his crew into believing they were burying treasure, and the real treasure is probably still on board his ship. Not that it will do him much good now. You decide to put one of the iron bars in your backpack and walk over to the goat track to climb the cliff. Okay, we have an iron bar.
One between us?
Well, I guess so, yeah. It says, one, so I guess we have an iron bar.
Perfect.
200. You wend your way up the goat track and are quite exhausted by the time you reach the top. You take a swig of water from your flask and realise that water shortage could be a problem for you on this island. Looking west, you see the daunting sight of the sleeping volcano standing above the trees, but no sign of life. Although you can certainly hear it. A cacophony of bird and insect noise. With the light quickly fading, you decide to camp down for the night behind some rocks. You do not sleep very well and are awake at first light, eager to set off. You decide to head directly west, into the trees. Turn to 391.
What was that number that you just read? Sorry,
200.
200, and then 391. Thanks.
Okay, 391. The undergrowth beneath the trees is dense. Plants with long or broad leaves, some with spiny tips, vines, creepers, fungi, roots and flowers of all sizes, shapes and colours fighting for light and space in the humid jungle thicket. You have to use your sword to cut your way through it, and it is a long and slow business. If you wish to sit down and rest at the base of a great tree, turn to 53. If you'd rather continue hacking your way west, turn to 81. Is it just me that thinks that sounds like it's a trap?
It kind of does. Not gonna lie. I'm happy to continue onward if that is what you wish to do.
Yeah, I'm tempted to, because I have a horrible feeling that if we sleep or rest by the tree, it'll turn out to be a carnivorous one or something.
We were warned about the...
we were warned about carnivorous plants, yes. Yeah. Okay, let's just keep hacking west, turn to 81. Of course, it'll now say you lose X stamina, won't it? Because it's like that.
Yeah, the trees attack you as you leave.
81.
Sorry, 81. Oh, yeah.
As you push your way slowly through the undergrowth, the hairs on the back of your neck start to prickle, and you feel you're being watched. You stand back, sword ready, watching the leaves for any sign of movement. Then 3 dark-skinned men step into view, each wearing only a crude loincloth. They're armed with stone clubs and long spears, but you're more alarmed to see that each wears a belt of shrunken human heads. The headhunters start to argue about who should kill you and earn the right to wear your head on his belt. Finally, one steps forward. It says fight them one at a time. I feel that's somehow unfair to them, given there are 3 of them and 2 of us.
Yeah.
So how about one of us takes the first one of us takes the second one, and then we can both pummel the third one to death very quickly.
Yeah, like the pirates.
Like the pirates.
Yeah,
So, do you want the first or second headhunter?
I'll take the second.
Okay. The first headhunter is skill 6, stamina 6. This shouldn't take long. That's not a strong enemy. So that's 9 plus... Yeah, he's down to 4 immediately. That's 7 is 18. No, he's down to 2 immediately. We rolled a 4. And a 6 is 17. Even that wasn't enough. He rolled 10 plus 6 is 16. In 3 swift blows, he is done.
Expertly
The
done.
second headhunter is skill 7, stamina 6. Your turn.
Wonderful. Right. I've got a 7 for 17. And they rolled a 6 for 13. So they had 4. I then get a 7 for 17.
Okay.
And they get a 5 for 12, which brings it down to 2. And another 7, a different 7 for 17, funnily enough, again. And they get a 6 for 13.
Excellent.
So
All
I saw
done.
you from that then.
The third
I was
headhunter,
inspired.
skill 6, stamina 7. So, let's both go for it. Both attack.
I
I only
didn't
rolled a
want that one.
5, so that's 16 for me.
Halfway across the room. I only rolled a 5 for a 15.
And he rolled a 7 plus 6 is a mere 13.
Oh.
His stamina has gone from 7 to 3 really fast. Okay. I attack again. That's 17 total.
I got a 19.
And this time he did 11 plus 6 is 17. So he could have hit me. Let's find out. Unluckily, he went for you. So he didn't do you any damage. You hit him, I missed, but he's down to just 1 point.
Wonderful.
This time I rolled a mere 4.
I rolled a 9.
Okay.
I seem to be doing rather well tonight. It's a shame we weren't playing something else.
Yes, I know what you mean. However,
really dangerous.
tragically, he rolled a 3, and that means his total is 9.
Ooh.
So he had 1 stamina left. He just took 4 hits. And he is no longer a threat. And we win, so we turn to 177.
Glorious. Long may it continue.
The headhunters, the headhunters have no items of equipment on them, but have a hide bag containing bananas and coconuts. You save your own provisions and eat the headhunter's food. Add a stamina point. That sounds like a bargain. That gets me back up to just 1 shy of my total.
I am at my total, so I shall not add.
This is good. You wonder if their village is nearby and decide to climb a tree to get a better view. From the top, you see smoke rising not far away in the southwest, perhaps from a village. Directly west, you see the trees gradually thin out, and away in the far northwest, you see the daunting shape of the volcano. You climb down the tree and plan which way to head. If you wish to keep going west, turn to 229. If you wish to go northwest in order to circumvent the smoke, turn to 12. So do we want to go to a village, or do we want to avoid the village? I think that's basically what we're dealing with.
Yeah. It is very tempting, as things often are in these games.
I mean, I can't shake the feeling that villages do have doors in them.
Yeah, that is very true. But is it the village of the headhunters? You really want to?
I don't think we know that.
No, let's do it.
Okay. So we go west, turn to 229. Oh, sorry, 229. 229.
Cool.
As you hack your way through the thick undergrowth, you hear the distant sound of drums coming from where you saw the smoke rising. If you wish to head southwest towards it, turn to 337. If you prefer to keep heading west, 113. Yes, Kelly, we have this thing about doors. We refuse to walk past doors unopened, and sometimes we go hunting for doors specifically so that we can open them. It is a recurring theme. It is who we are as people.
Yes. Once they've been successfully opened, we, like the headhunters, shrink them down and hang them from our belts.
Yes, exactly that. Essentially, the two central themes of all of these game books so far have been open all of the doors and murder families of goblins. So are we going to press on towards the village, even though there are drums coming?
I think we've made the decision, haven't we?
I think so, yeah.
Have we often I don't think we've ever gone back on it. We might have done.
Yeah. If you wish to head southwest, turn to 337. 337.
Southwest. I'm just going to say that there was one going further north, and this one carries on going straight.
Fair enough. The beating of the drums grows louder as you scramble through the undergrowth towards them. You also hear chanting voices and deep humming. You crawl forwards as quietly as you can until you reach the edge of a small clearing. There are several bamboo huts in a circle around the edge of the clearing. In the centre of the clearing you see 12 headhunters standing around a half-naked man tied to a post. One of the headhunters, who is wearing a face mask and headdress, steps forward, his arms raised in the air. The drums instantly stop beating. Then a woman hands him a bone knife. The headhunters are about to gain a new trophy. There are too many of them for you to fight at once, and you feel helpless. There is only one plan you can think of to distract the headhunters, but it is dangerous. If you wish to take a burning branch from the fire in front of you and set some of the huts on fire, turn to 171. If you'd rather slip back into the jungle and continue west, turn to 113.
You can take this one, Ben. This seems above my pay grade.
I mean, I'm going to suggest rescuing the person tied to the post is probably something we should be doing as heroes. But I'm slightly worried about, we're probably going to discover that they've got a creche set up in one of the huts we're about to set fire to. But it could be a family of goblins, in which case, frankly, they have to die. I'm going to try and set some things on fire, okay?
Let's do it.
Set the huts on fire, turn to 171. You crawl towards the fire, hoping that the headhunters will be too engrossed in their ritual to notice you. Test your luck. If you're lucky or unlucky. Okay. How do we do this? Should we both test? Then what happens if only one of us it can only be one of us, because there's no option for are you half lucky, is there?
No.
So, I guess I made the call. I'll test luck.
That seems fair.
And I did, in fact. I didn't need to worry about whether or not I was going to hit it. I shouldn't really have rolled, because I do have a luck of 12 at the moment. However, it's now 11. I succeeded, but my luck is now down by a point. Okay. I am lucky, so turn to 215. Grabbing one of the burning brushes, you dash behind one of the huts and set it alight. Then you run to the next hut and set it on fire as well. The huts are soon blazing away, and you watch from behind the next hut as the headhunters run around the clearing, shouting instructions to each other in total confusion. The man tied to the post is temporarily left unguarded, and you run to him to set him free. With one swipe of your sword, you cut through the vines holding him to the post, and run off towards the jungle, yelling at the man to follow. As you're running, one of the headhunters sees you and throws his spear at you. Roll 1 die. Oh my god. If the number is 1 or 2, turn to this. If it's 3 or 4, turn to this. And if it's 5 or 6, turn to this. I have no idea what's good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, this in no way feels like a you are automatically going to die kind of roll.
Yeah.
We are more than familiar with those.
I'll tell you what, roll 1d6.
Oh. That's a 2.
This can only be good news. 2s are always
Yes.
brilliant on dice. The number rolled is 1 or 2. Turn to 76. The spear flies through the air, striking you in the shoulder and sending you crashing to the ground. Lose 3 stamina points. I'll roll 1d6 to find out which of us it hit, okay?
Yeah, I'm happy to take it though if you want. As I rolled,
It was me, actually, who got it. So
Sorry.
that's all right. In fact, quite conveniently, assuming we don't take any more damage, that's got me to exactly 1 provision away from full health.
Oh well, that can only be good.
Yes, indeed. If you're still alive, you see the man you rescued come to your side and pull the spear from your shoulder. He picks you up and helps you run for cover inside one of the huts, as the other headhunters turn to attack you. Inside, the rescued man arms himself with a spear and a stone-headed club. His gratitude shows in a smile, and suddenly he runs out of the hut screaming at the top of his voice. You watch as he charges into a group of advancing headhunters, stabbing and hacking at them in a mad frenzy. Before he finally succumbs to their blows, he manages to slay 3 of them. You stagger out of the hut to fight the remaining headhunters, but only one, the chief, steps forward to fight. The others turn and flee. The chief headhunter we get to fight now. So, he is skill 8, stamina 8. Let's both attack. That's a 7 plus 11 is 18 for me.
I've got a 15 with a 5 on the dice.
And he's got a 16, so it's going to matter which of us he goes for. And unluckily for him, he went for me. So he's down 2, down to 6 stamina. Attack again. 9, that's a total of 20.
I got a 9 for 19.
And he got a 2 for, 10.
Oof.
So he's down to 2 stamina. And I rolled a 7 for my next attack, so 18.
Mine's a 5 again for a 15.
And he's rolled a 4 for a total of a 12, and he is dead. So, yes, we win. Turn to 66. Right. I'm actually going to take a provision at this point.
Cool.
So
I am good.
So I'm now down to 7 provisions, but more importantly, back up to 16 stamina. Okay.
Cool.
You pick up the chief's spear and run back into the jungle the way you came. You're soon well away from the village and slow down to a walk. Once again, you are alone on your quest. Turn to 113.
We can go back the way we came. Cool.
Slowly you hack your way through the dense jungle, not really certain of the direction in which you're heading. Later you catch a brief glimpse of the sun through the trees, enough to orient yourself, and turn to head west. Turn to 7.
Let's see. Oh, I have no idea, do I? Let's say we went this way.
Your burning huts are amazing. That's absolute work of art.
Thanks.
So pressing on further west, you notice that the ground is becoming wetter and softer. Soon you're ankle deep in water. The trees thin out and you find yourself wading through thick black mire. The marshland stretches out in front of you as far as you can see. Suddenly you hear the sound of squelching behind, and you're surprised to see a strange creature run past you. It is small, with green reptilian scales. Its arms are long and hang down to the ground, and it moves rapidly over the marsh on its webbed feet. It pays you no attention. If you wish to call out to the creature, or if you prefer to keep trudging west. What do you think?
It's a weird one. If it was a a bearded man screaming from behind a door, we'd engage and try and talk to it, wouldn't we? But
yeah,
it's just a creature.
I mean, Socks has put a vote into chat. Swamp monster is a door.
Swamp monster is a door. I think we're getting quite liberal with the term door here, but I'm here for it. Let's call out.
Let's call out to the creature. Turn to
beast.
317. We open creature, lick creature. We'll call out to the creature. Turn to 317. The creature halts suddenly and looks over its shoulder to stare at you in bewilderment. The wide mouth opens and a pink forked tongue darts out and recoils just as quickly. Its big eyes look full of sorrow, but then you realise that the creature is a cunning marsh hopper. Despite their pathetic appearance, marsh hoppers will often lead unwary victims into the lairs of carnivorous marsh beasts for the price of a few scraps of meat. However, no creature knows how to cross treacherous marshlands better than a marsh hopper. The marsh hopper beckons you with its head to follow it across the marsh. We can follow it or continue west alone. And evening, Lee. Lovely to have you with us. So, marsh hopper. I'm looking at a rather beautiful picture of a marsh hopper, which I don't think will... I'll try, but I don't think it will show up well on camera. I think that's a rather stunning piece of art, that.
Nice. It is indeed.
Oh, Kelly. Marshmallow. He does look like a goblin and therefore needs to be murdered, is that right? Or, well, we don't actually have the option to murder him. All we can do is follow him or not follow him.
Yeah. And we follow for potentially a quicker way through, but possibly being led to a carnivorous creature.
Yes. What do you reckon?
I mean, we've dealt with some pirates and some headhunters. Let's follow.
Let's follow. Okay. Yeah. We'll follow it. Turn to 58. Sinking knee-deep in the slimy marsh, you struggle to keep up with the agile marsh hopper. Suddenly it turns south and once again beckons you to follow. If you wish to keep following the marsh hopper, whatever, or keep heading west. What do you think? Once we're following him, are we following him?
That does tend to be our MO.
Yeah.
But, I'm all for change. Let's continue following.
Let's continue following.
Well, that's my vote.
This is another. Are you sure?
Yeah, exactly.
Turn to 235.
Worrying. And once you get so far, you don't want to know. You kind of want to know what it is. Like, should I have turned back or?
After a short while, the marsh hopper turns west, and you wonder whether it's tiring you out to lead you into a trap, or whether it's picking the safest path through the marsh. Your thoughts are soon answered, as a massive beast rises out of the mire in front of you. It is a two-headed hydra, which slithers towards you on giant slug-like body, both of its heads stretching forward to bite you. If you have a spear, do this, and if you don't have a spear, do that. We do actually have a spear. We got one from the Headhunter Chief.
Yes.
So we do have a spear. It is 272 we turn to.
Very nice. I mean, at least it's only a two-headed hydra as well.
Indeed. Two is the right number for us. As the hydra closes in, you hurl the spear at one of its heads. Roll one die. And then it's 1, 2, 3 or 4, turn to this. 5 or 6, turn to that. Roll one die, and let's find out.
Go on then. That's a 4.
A 4. So it's a 1, 2, 3 or 4. We turn to 209. You miss. The spear falls harmlessly into the water behind the hydra, and now you must fight it with your sword. Okay.
Sounds fair.
This is actually a 2-on-2 battle, because it's actually got stats for left and right head for the hydra.
Ah.
Which I think is actually quite a nice way of doing it in this system. I think that's quite clever.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take one head each. They are both skill 9, stamina 9.
Cool.
So I'm going to attack the left head. Doesn't really matter which way round we go. I rolled a 6, so that's a total of a 17. And it rolled a 6, and it therefore takes 2 damage.
Nice. I rolled a 7 for 17, and it rolled a 4 for 13.
Excellent. So my head is down to 7 stamina, and so is yours. Great. I'm attacking again. That's a 7, a mere 18 for me. But good enough. It only rolled a 4. So it's down to 5 now.
Nice. I rolled a 9 for 19, and it rolled an 8 for 17.
Brilliant. So far, this is going well.
Yeah.
I roll an 8 for 19. And it rolls a 7. It's taken yet another punishing hit.
Mine is a 7 for 17. And it rolled a 6 for 15.
Excellent.
And that was me worried when you said giant two-headed hydra.
Yeah. Yeah, as it turns out, it's basically a pussycat, isn't it?
Now we've said that.
Well, I've just rolled a 4, so yes, maybe. That's a 15. And it, amazingly, has also rolled a 4. I'm going to test my luck. See if I can add a point to that and knock it out with this hit.
Nice.
I rolled a 9, so I have indeed done that. It is done, but my luck has taken another penalty of downness.
I rolled a 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it rolled a 7, which is also a 16. So we're tied.
Okay.
What are the options here, Ben?
If it's tied, nothing happens.
Cool.
You battle on.
Wonderful. In which case, I rolled a 10 for a 20.
Okay.
And it rolled a 4 for a 13.
Superb. That reduces it to 1 hit point.
Yep, perfect. I rolled a 5 for 15. And the Hydra gets a 10, which means I lose 2. And then I roll an 11, which is pretty good. And I think that puts me... No, it doesn't quite. But the Hydra rolled an 8.
Okay.
For 7.
That means the Hydra is done. Now, I feel very strongly right now that the option after this has to be now torture the Marshhopper to death. If you win, turn to 389, which we did.
I mean, you'd imagine the Marshhopper would be looking pretty embarrassed at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to worry you, but it turns out there's another stat block in this one. As the Hydra sinks down into the black mire, the Marshhopper takes flight, his treachery revealed. He runs off in great loping strides and is soon out of sight. There is nothing else to do except to trudge your way west. However, you've gone not more than 100 metres when you notice turbulence in the water to your right. That infernal Marshhopper has led you to a section of the mast seething with carnivorous life. Swimming quickly towards you is a giant water snake, and you must fight for your life in the marshlands yet again. Giant water snake, skill 6, stamina 5. However, it says, during each attack round you must reduce your attack strength by 2 because of your tiredness and lack of mobility compared with the snake. I assume that's not cumulative.
Yeah, because we're not reducing our skill by 2, are we? We're reducing our... Did it say roll?
Your attack strength, so that's skill plus roll, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just you fight at -2. You don't lose 2 each round. Yeah, I think that's got to be right, yes. Okay, so, yeah, during each attack round, attack strength by 2. Yes, all right. So we're facing skill 6, stamina 5, but we're at -2. Okay, let's both attack. That's an 8 plus 11 is a 19, -2, 17.
I got a 12, which is pretty good. For a 22, so a 20.
Okay. And it got a 2. So, not good. It is down to 1 stamina. Okay. Away we go. I rolled a 3, tragically, which is 14 -2 is 12.
After my double 6, I got a double 1. So you can get rid of those, and it's just my skill, which is a 10.
And it rolled a 10 plus 6 is 16. So it hit one of us, and neither of us landed a punch on it. It hit me again. Why is it always me that gets hit when I roll that?
It is always you.
Oh, well.
Sometimes.
So be it.
Right. Minus 10 plus 10 minus 2 is an 18.
And mine's 11 plus 11, which is 22, minus 2 is 20. Okay. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, it's done. We both land hits on it. If you win, turn to 49. You sheathe your sword and set off west again. Gradually the ground becomes firmer underfoot, and soon you're out of the water and walking across a muddy plain. Ahead you see 2 hills, and you decide to walk towards the gorge dividing them. Turn to 362. The ground rises, and you're at last away from the difficult terrain. The jungle and marsh are behind you. Grass and flowers make the island appear lush and beautiful, but you know you can't afford to relax. It's not long before you reach the gorge and see that it runs between several hills in a westerly direction. You can walk down the gorge, or if we prefer, climb the hill to our right.
I don't mind. This seems like a bit of a dice roll, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
Not that-
I mean, neither gorges nor hills sound like doors to me.
No.
Infinite Monkey Tales, thank you for joining us. We are playing a
Monkey
fighting
Tales.
fantasy game book, believe it or not.
And we're stuck between some hills and a gorge at the minute.
Yeah.
Or at least stuck between making the decision of which one to take.
Some rocks and a high place, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are we doing? Walk down the gorge. Make that odds. No, it's climb the hill.
Cool.
194. We're going to climb the hill to the right. Turn to 194. You walk along the side of the hill, following the route of the gorge. Looking over to the hill on the far side of the gorge, you suddenly see a landslide start, sending rocks and boulders crashing into the gorge. Although you're not enjoying the tiring climb, you are relieved that you were not in the gorge. Add a luck point. If you still wish to walk along the side of the hill above the gorge, go this way, and if you want to risk walking down the gorge, go another way. Okay, add a luck point. That's good news. I feel that the rock slide was a bit of a clue that the gorge is not sound.
Yeah.
So should we stay up on the hill then?
Either that or we've just avoided all the danger and now there's nothing but safety and, flowers and unicorns and happy stuff down in the gorge. Let's stay up here, though.
Yeah. And happy birthday, Poops.
Oh, yes, definitely. Happy birthday.
Yeah. I hope you had a good time tonight on your own stream. Okay, stay up on the hill. Turn to 83. The side of the hill is quite steep and you lose your footing on some scree. See, this is actually what I didn't think about. If there are rock falls happening in the gorge, like landslides, does it really matter if you're on it when it happens rather than underneath it when it happens? You tumble over and slide down the hill. Test your luck. If you're lucky, do this. If you're unlucky, do that. Right? Well, I think we should both test our luck this time. I don't know what to do if we both fail. I've succeeded, but obviously it's cost me a luck point.
As have I, and I'll mark my luck down to 9.
3, 3, 4. Three, 4. You stretch out your arm and manage to grab a bush to stop yourself rolling down the hill. Lying on the ground, you see a hollow under a rock, but it's too dark to see inside. If you wish to reach into the hollow, or walk carefully down the gorge to continue west. So we reach into the hollow, or we just keep picking our way down the gorge.
I mean, a hollow is like a door without...
A hollow is like a door, isn't it?
It's certainly a doorway.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Yes, let's
exactly.
reach into the hollow. It's definitely a door. Yeah, I feel that very strongly. Reach into the hollow, turn to 145.
I'll leave this off.
As you slowly put your hand into the hole, fear grips you on hearing a familiar rattling sound. You try to retract your hand before the fangs of the rattlesnake sink into your arm, but it's too late. Its poison is in your blood. You waste no time and cut the wound with your own sword to draw the blood. If your stamina is 18 or below, turn to this. If it exceeds 18, turn to that.
My stamina can never exceed 18.
Nor can mine. Mine is currently 14 and can top out at 16. So stamina is 18 or below. We turn to 264.
This doesn't sound good.
This
if I'm
doesn't
honest.
sound good, does it? Your constitution is weak, and the poison runs quickly through your system. Your arm starts to throb, and you break out into a sweat. Your vision blurs, and you have difficulty retaining consciousness. Lose 5 stamina points.
Ooh.
Oh, it gets worse. But start by losing 5 stamina points.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay then. As long as it gets worse, then.
Yeah.
This vacation is...
That takes me to 9, by the way.
and me as well.
It then says, if your stamina score is now 9 or below, or above 9. Mine is currently 9.
Mine is indeed 9 as well. I went from 14 to 9.
Okay.
This sounds like a bad one.
This felt... It can't just be lose another bunch like that, can it? Because it seems cruel to say you're down to 9 and then, oh, now you're dead. But let's see.
Yeah.
9
if
or
your stamina
below.
is less than 9, you fully regain all your health.
Maybe. Yes. You win a prize.
Yeah.
So, yes, if your stamina score is now 9 or below, turn to 124. 124.
Yeah.
The snake's venom is too strong for your system to endure, and you lose consciousness. Test your luck. Okay. This is going to be a straight lucky or unlucky. So, do you want to take it, or shall I?
I don't mind. Your choice.
I'm tempted to say let's find out whose luck is higher, but I think that would be gaming the system. Let's roll a die and find out who tests their luck.
That seems fairer.
It's me to test luck.
Okay. We'll put it down to 2 dice rolls rather than just the one.
Okay, that's a 6. That's reasonably comfortably under my luck. That's fine. So my luck drops to 9, having tested it. Test your luck. If you're lucky, turn to 156. Lucky is good, because now we have to have stopped the rot, surely.
Well, lucky isn't always... I mean, it's better than the other option, but it's not always good in these games. Sometimes it's the lesser of 2 evils, I feel.
Well, okay. Although you come close to death, you survive the snake's venom. I think the other one was a straight, you're dead.
That's it.
However, the poison has seriously weakened you. Eventually you regain consciousness and rest, but your attributes now consist of a skill score of 5 and stamina of 4.
Wait, total stamina?
Skill of 5 and stamina of 4. That's our actual attributes, our starting numbers.
Oh. Well. Goodbye skill. Goodbye stamina.
Okay. So, it was nice when I had a skill of 11.
At least it takes us less provisions to get to max stamina now.
Yeah, now every
need to eat
provision
one
is a
and we're there.
potion of perfection.
Yeah. Perfect.
Right. So... if you wish to drive the rattlesnake out of its hole with your sword, turn to 5. If you'd rather walk carefully down the gorge to head west, turn to 119.
I mean, I want revenge for that, but my skill's 5 now. I know when to cut my losses. I feel as though we should walk away.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to open it up to debate.
I'm tempted to say the exploring every side thing and everything is not working out well for us this time.
No, definitely not. We were indeed safer in the swamp, Sparrow.
However, Kelly does have a point. Maybe there's a sort of potion of curing rattlesnakes or something.
Yes, that the rattlesnake is hoarding.
That the
They bite you, and then they sell you the potion to cure the bite. It's a good business model.
I mean, we can't realistically drive the rattlesnake out, kill the rattlesnake, and then synthesize an anti-venom, can we?
Well, you never know.
I think realistically we're going to have to move on, leave the rattlesnake. Okay, we will head down the gorge to head west, turn to 119. A snake is a kind of door. Yes, thank you, Luke. A snake is a kind of door. We walk carefully down the gorge to head west, turn to 119. All right, 119 it is.
It's going to make mapping these things out a lot easier if everything is just a door now.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Also, there is a very decent chance we're going to be dead in a minute anyway, so...
Yeah, that's true. We didn't die, but we may as well have done.
In the fine sand on the ground, you notice traces of old footprints leading out of the gorge. They end abruptly in front of you, and there are signs of a struggle. 2 pairs of footprints lead back down the gorge with 2 straight lines behind them, as though their owners have dragged a body behind them. As you follow the trail of the footprints, you catch sight of a shiny object in the sand. You prod it with your foot and see an oval snuff box made of brass. Picking it up, you see that it has a hinged lid. Do you want to open the snuff box or throw it back in the dust and continue to follow the footprints?
Open door. This is definitely a door.
This is definitely a door, isn't it? Snuff boxes are clearly doors.
A hinged one certainly is.
Okay. In this case, we are going to open the snuff box, turning to 41. Inside the snuff box, you find a small gold nugget and a piece of paper with a message scrawled in charcoal, which reads, "If you read this, it will mean that I have failed in my attempt to escape from the slave mines of the Lizard King. My raft is hidden beyond the gorge where the plain meets the river. If you are here to help us, please follow the river upstream until you see the mud huts. The slave mines are nearby, but beware the lizard man guards." You fold up the piece of paper, put it in your pocket together with the gold nugget, and continue to follow the footprints.
Nice.
And I'm thinking that this was a good thing, but where's the anti-rattlesnake venom thing? Anyway, we continue to follow the footprints, turn to 325. Okay. The ground underfoot becomes rockier and the footprint trail you've been following disappears. In the distance you hear a faint rumbling. Could it be the yawning of an awakening volcano? You hurry on down the gorge but are stopped in your tracks by the sight of a huge reptile blocking your path. You stare incredulously at the armoured beast which appears some 6 meters in length. It is a giant lizard, and it sees you as a source of food. You must fight it. Giant lizard, skill 8, stamina 9.
Wonderful. We are now at the point where the monsters outpower us. But there's two of us.
Okay. We're going to need a miracle here.
I think Sparrow's right. We are in serious trouble.
Okay.
Right.
Skill 8, stamina 9. All right. Time to attack.
That's not bad. It's an 8 plus the plus the 5. Thanks, Snake.
I rolled a 5 plus 5, which is, 10.
Yeah, and 13 for me.
Yep. So effectiveness, unless it rolls a double 1, and it's rolled a 5. So its total is 13. It now needs... I need this die to not be me. I really need this to not be me.
That would be helpful.
And it isn't! For once for once this evening, it went for you. So it failed to hit you. You failed to hit it, and I was nowhere near hitting it. Okay.
Wonderful.
We go again.
It's the best we could hope for, really.
Yeah. That's 8
mine's a
plus
9.
5 is 13.
Wonderful. Mine's a 9 plus 5 is 14.
Okay. And it's a 7 plus 8 is 15. So, it's going to hurt one of us. And sadly, it's me. Okay.
Oh.
My stamina is now 2.
Next one. That's a 6 plus 5, an 11. Hey, which is your starting skill?
You've got an
Good
11.
times.
I've got an 8 plus 5 is 13. And it's done a 6 plus 8 is sadly 14. Aha. So, it's going to hit one of us. This time it's you.
That seems very fair.
The next time it hits me, I'm going to test my luck and see if I can knock it down to 1. I should have done that last time, but I didn't think of it.
Yes.
Right. I've rolled a 6, so a total of 11.
I rolled a 4 for a total of 9.
And it has rolled a 7 for a total of 15. It's taken you on. So, do you want to try your luck?
No, I think I'd rather just die at this point. Yeah, no, I touched my luck. So under a 9. And that is an 8. Luckily. But my luck is now 8, and I take 1.
You
Is that
take
correct?
1, yeah.
So I am now on 1 stamina.
I have a mighty 2 stamina.
Good times.
Right. Oh, however,
Change
finally,
these
I rolled a
notes.
double 6 for my attack, so
Ooh.
at least we might wound it.
Well, I got an 8. For,
Fantastic.
For 13.
Right, and I've got a 17. It's rolled an 11 plus 8 is 17. We need it to hit me this time.
Mm.
And it did. So, no damage to anybody. Okay.
Right.
9 plus 5 is 14.
Ooh, I got an 11 plus 5, so 16.
And it's done a 9 plus 8 is 17. Okay. And it goes for you again.
And that's me down to 0.
I'm
even
afraid
if
it
I touch my
is.
luck.
I mean,
Alas.
I'm going to have to play it out, aren't I? Because I have a
Yes.
feeling I'll be
Yeah.
dead in a moment anyway.
I've gone the way of Mungo Jerry.
I rolled a 7 plus 5 is 12. It's done a 6 plus 8 is 14. I'm going to test my luck.
Makes sense.
I rolled a 10. I rolled a 10. That's over my current luck. So, if it had made any difference, I would have actually taken an additional point of damage rather than one less. It doesn't make any difference. I was on 2 anyway. But it turns out we were killed and eaten by a giant lizard in paragraph 325. I
would argue that the small snake in a hollow killed us.
Yes. Ultimately, it was the snake, I think, that did for us. Oh, well. So,
but we did okay. I felt, we made it further than Mungo Jerry.
Further than Mungo, yes.
Further in than the guy trying to escape got out. Maybe.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I completely agree with that. So we've now played 6. I know it's a bit confusing. We'd done this one slightly out of order because we'd already told people we were doing Death Trap Dungeon in a few weeks. So this is, despite it being number 7 as a book, it's actually the 6th one we've done.
It's like Star Wars.
We have not done any of them. We've not actually won a single one of these books yet. We survived the first one, Warlock of Firetop Mountain, and we survived City of Thieves.
Yeah, two non-deaths.
Yep. We sort of partly survived Forest of Doom because we didn't survive, of course, obviously, but we actually made it out the other end, and then in the attempt to get back to the start again, we died on the, on the way back. So it's a sort of half and half died, that one. But we now have 3 that have absolutely murdered us. Citadel of Chaos, we died horribly. Island of the Lizard King, we've now died horribly. And Starship Traveller. That was embarrassing. We were basically blown to pieces by falling into a volcano, weren't we?
Yeah. That was in fact, was that just to test your luck? You're standing on the edge of the volcano.
I think it was, yeah.
Which I think, again, it gave us ample opportunity to say, are you sure you want to walk up to the edge of this volcano? Are you really sure you want to look into the volcano? And then we tested our luck and failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It basically turns out we are not good at these, but I have to say, they are enormous fun to play. Win or lose, they're fun.
They are, and I think Socks is right. They're obviously not meant to be completed on their first playthrough.
No. The idea, I think, is that you explore and you learn your way around, and they're designed for a bit of replay value. Obviously, you could get lucky your first run through, but it turns out we haven't been yet. But it's an enormous amount of fun to play them, and it's a nice throwback to a very old style of gaming and of narrative, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and they are great fun, as you say. And where a lot of this sort of thing began or took a different route, or as you say, it's early gaming throwbacks.
Yeah. Yes,
lots of fun memories.
They are an odd little thing, and this series were insanely popular in the UK. The Fighting Fantasy series. There were other, Choose Your Fate type books, but these ones were insanely popular. And this one, of course, was written by Ian Livingstone, one of the original 2 Fighting Fantasy mavens.
Yeah.
Yes, it's well, I thought that was quite fun. even if it was a bit brief.
Yeah, it didn't feel too bad. It might be the shortest one. But again, I don't think they ever really feel short because there's a lot of content in the actual text, isn't there? And
Yeah.
I think they do a good job of setting the world that you're in for this type of book.
Yeah, and they are. I mean, they are an interesting insight into the way people design games and puzzles and problems and things. They are a lot of fun. Well, people will be pleased to know, I'm sure, that I do have others of these. We're in the process basically of working through the first 8 because I have all of those. After that, it becomes a bit more erratic because I never had number 9 or I don't think number 10 either. But I think I've got like 11 and 17 and 21, that kind of arrangement. So there are a few more after we've done the first 8. And there are a huge number of them. I had no idea how many there were until I started sort of looking them up to see which ones I had and which ones I didn't. And there are vast numbers of them. I don't know how many of them are still functionally available in print, but I'm wondering if there are sort of ebook versions that we can get when we need to add to the collection. Because so far we've just been playing through the ones that I bought when I was 12 or 13 or however old I was when I bought these.
Yeah. I think they have been reprinted, I'm sure, and they are available in various places. But yeah, there may be an ebook, which in fact would be. It seems like something that would be really good for a text adventure. Well, they are text adventures, aren't they? But
yeah,
where you could just click on a button and make your choice rather than having to turn to the or scroll through the PDF to the appropriate passage.
I mean,
I'm sure there's something out there.
And when new, this book cost me £1.50, which I seem to remember was a lot of money back then.
That sounds like a bargain today.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ah, crit fail, thank you. At least 14 are available currently. Fantastic. We'll have to have a look and do a bit more research. As I say, we have a few. We've still got Death Trap Dungeon, which is number 6 in the series, which we were sort of planning to do in a few weeks. So that's why we didn't do that one tonight. We've done them slightly out of order. And then Scorpion Swamp, which is going to be an interesting one for Ewan, because having glanced at the front of it, the mapping looks slightly different, the way they suggest you map it. I think it's like a grid pattern, so you're sort of constantly moving right angles, and it suggests like clearing to clearing or something. I'll look at it again before we do it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll see if I can find a forum or something online. I'm sure there's lots of resources for people that have mapped these things out already.
Yeah,
and just look for some advice.
Yes,
suggest.
I think genuinely it's probably a quite interesting thing when they mess up the format a bit. They started out with one style and then they say, oh, let's do this, let's do that. It's a ridiculous thing to be excited about. When he did the Hydra in this one, but did the 2 heads as separate creatures, I thought that was a clever idea. People come up with all sorts of clever things. So yes, well, I mean, it's relatively early yet, so we can probably linger on for a bit and have a chat with people if people would like to, while we can think of anything to say. So let's start, I suppose, with what's coming up, because we are all, fingers crossed, hoping that Luke will be online tomorrow evening. Mouse, I think links are fine, aren't they? If it does reject them, then Discord will be fine. But I think links are okay in our one.
Yeah, it should be okay. But yeah, either one is Either one is perfectly fine.
Yeah,
I would
and
thought.
our Discord is certainly accessible. Brilliant, thank you. That's very useful. Cheers. Yes, it's it's good of you to ask. I do appreciate it. It's sort of good internet etiquette, if nothing else.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
Yes.
And for providing us with the links.
Playing some AI Dungeon tonight. I don't know what AI Dungeon is, Croy. What is AI Dungeon? I genuinely haven't got the slightest idea. Unless it's actually an artificially intelligent dungeon, which I suppose would be horrifically creepy.
It sounds like something Luke would throw at us in those dark places.
It does, doesn't it?
Evan in control
Artificial
of the dungeon.
Intelligence Dungeon Master. Oh, I see. So you play against it, or not against it.
It runs the game.
It runs
for
the
you.
game for you.
No, everyone heard you say it, Ben. Referees are your enemy. We are playing against each other. No takebacks. It sounds really cool, actually.
That actually sounds really brilliant.
Yeah.
No, we obviously have not heard of it. We've never done that on stream, but that sounds right up our alley, to be fair.
I can imagine how weird it would get with the three of us playing.
It gets weirder the longer you play. I promise you, Sparrow, we can make it weird in like 11 seconds. Because
sounds like a challenge.
It would not be very long before it was, lick goblin and open snake that we were putting into the system. Yeah, that sounds really interesting, actually. We'll definitely take a look at that, because
Ooh.
that could be the kind of thing that we could do as an occasional, like we do these Fighting Fantasies, when not all three of us are about, or when we can't do something because some of our games, of course, we have a guest, Boy the Baltic Star, along with us, and sometimes plans fall apart when we can't all get together. And when that happens, it is definitely worth a punt. It's free to play with, but has adverts. I mean, obviously we'd have to subscribe then before we streamed it, I think it's fair to say, if it was going to put adverts. But we could check it out before subscribing and find out if it's if it'd be good for us. If we can work it as a game that we can play together, even if it's unofficially together like we did tonight, because obviously the game books are written for one person, but I had friends at school and we played these things together, and basically what we did was what you've seen tonight. We nerfed our characters to make them weaker, though not as weak as it turns out a rattlesnake nerfs your characters.
Yeah.
But we nerf the characters to make them weaker, and then treat it as if it's a real round the table thing, make it a bit of a social activity. Yeah, okay, that sounds like a good one. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up, haven't we? Because next weekend we're doing, well, the next 2 Fridays we're doing the next 2 proper episodes of Traveller, after last night's sort of Traveller extravaganza mid-season special, where we interviewed Timothy Collinson and then caught up with the first, well, basically with everything we'd done on De La Brew recently. So that's what we did last night. For the next 2 Fridays, we're doing traditional Traveller activities, actually progressing the plot as slowly as the guys normally do it, but nonetheless progressing the plot. So there's that. Then we have am I right in saying then the following Friday after that isn't a traveller night? Did I get that wrong?
No, that's right. Sorry, I just pulled it up on my phone because.
Oh, good. Yes, I'm doing the same thing.
I organise my life as it is, let alone with this as well. Tony
Yes.
and Rudy is the 22nd.
Yeah, Tony and Rudy on the 22nd. So this is, thank you, Socks. I thought, seriously, I developed almost a crush on Timothy last night. I thought he was amazing, absolutely amazing.
He really was, and is.
Yeah. So yes, we're doing a Tony and Rudy, which is the Vienna Express, and now the SS Cannes cruise ship in the Mediterranean while Europe burns, and we're looking for murderers and cultists. And oh, AI Dungeon has a multiplayer mode never tried. We will do this. We will take a look. We will chat about it when we have a Luke, or even without a Luke, and Ewan and I will have a go when we don't have a Luke. Who knows? But yes, we will do it. Thank you, Croy. Appreciate that. That's a really good tip. We will try it. Thank you. So yes, we're doing that. That's on the 22nd. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, so that's the next 3 Fridays. So what are we doing the next 3 Saturdays? Next weekend, is that Buffy next weekend?
That is indeed.
Okay.
It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or what's our Slayer's name? Sorry, I should know this.
Yes, so should I. I actually can't remember now.
Anyway, Socks is the
Socks
Vampire
is
Slayer.
playing,
It's
yes.
Socks the Vampire Slayer.
Clarissa, thank you. Clarissa the
Clarissa
Vampire Slayer. Yes.
Yeah.
In Buffy the Vampire Slayer in ancient Rome. Using quite a fun rule set, actually. I enjoyed that one. I thought the rule set was good for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So we will. That's next Saturday, and then the Saturday after that. Is that Orbital
Sorry.
Blues?
No, that is Tales from the Baltic Star on the 16th.
Oh, is it?
Which I believe, is that a Luke one? I'm not going to commit him. I'm happy to do it if nobody else is doing.
I have a vague feeling it is, but I mean, it doesn't matter.
One
It'll
of
be
us.
one of us.
One of us will run a backstory from one of our PC NPCs.
Yeah.
In some very rules-light Traveller-esque game.
Using it has to be said, no D10s whatsoever under any circumstances.
No.
Yeah.
No. And I'm not going to say never, but
No.
the chances are pretty slim.
Pretty slim. So yes, we yes, and then we have the next episode in European Benspionage, which should be
Yes,
right.
we do indeed, which is great fun. Or have been great fun, definitely.
Yeah, I think those are entertaining, and it's nice that we do a mixture of stuff anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and there's some really eclectic mechanics and rules and settings as well, which is great. Even in this coming month.
Yeah, it is.
It's great fun for me.
It
anyway.
is genuinely a treat for me because we keep trying wildly different things that are all in the sort of RPG space, but they are wildly different things, and that really makes a difference for me. I think that's a real joy to move from really large established role-playing games to weird little one-shots to, as it turns out, fighting fantasy games to computer games. And on that subject, of course, tomorrow night Luke will hopefully be available to continue his Spooky Sunday evening game, which at the moment is Heavy Rain, isn't it? That's the Sunday one.
Yes, indeed. Although just very quickly, before we move on to Too Fast, I will echo what Sparrow has said in chat. And yes, Sparrow, I do love Georgie. You can kick it. I don't care.
Georgie is amazing, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, Hard Rain, which has been a really interesting game, I think, from what I've seen on VOD. I've still got a bit of catching up to do. But yeah, it's been not the usual kind of thing I would play or watch people play, to be fair, but it's been entertaining.
Hard Rain is odd. I think I'm right in saying, or more accurately, I think I'm right in saying Luke said that Hard Rain was the same game studio that did the Detroit Become Human game that he played beforehand.
Yes.
And Detroit Become Human is a significantly more polished game. But Hard Rain has a similar sort of moral dilemma, ambiguity, plot structure to it. And it's very impressive to see. It's a very gripping sort of thing.
Mm. Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. Yeah.
Georgie is like Rudy when Rudy isn't there, really.
That is true.
Yes, and a bit more of the adventures of Tony and Rudy, I think, is always a bit of a crowd pleaser. Yes.
Yeah, and we've got both this month. We've got both Georgie and Rudy.
Yeah, we have, which is really nice. It's going to be a good month for that. So, yes, we have Friday Travelers and then Buffy. Saturday is all sorts of things. And most of our... when's our next Orbital Blues? Is that on the list?
Yes, I've got it down for the 30th, which is the
30th.
last Saturday.
Okay, so at the end of the month, we're doing Orbital Blues, which is...
And that's the Friday that's Death Trap Dungeon, though I think there was a little bit of toing and froing, I think, wasn't there, between those. I think that's where we stand we stand at the minute.
Yeah, that sounds good. So yes, Orbital Blues is a treat. I mean, it's a treat, I think, for all of us. But there are a number of reasons that it's a treat. In the same way as when we do Benspionage, we get Georgie, and by extension Sparrow. And when we do Tony and Rudy, we import this Greek god of a human to join us. When we do Orbital Blues, we get a bit of socks. It's all very nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, is there anything else we should talk about before we call it a night? Because it's still, I mean, by our schedules, it's still relatively early.
It is still pretty early.
Yeah.
We could always jump into Discord, or we could continue to chat here.
We could do that, actually. In fact, it feels more fair to jump into Discord, where it's not sort of us broadcasting at people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bit more reciprocal.
Yeah, it is a bit. I mean, chat's
right.
lovely, but jumping into the voice channel at Discord might be a bit more democratic. If that sounds okay to everybody.
Yeah, and if no one shows up, that's perfectly fine as well.
If nobody shows up, that's fine too.
But I've still got a drink to finish, so...
Yes, I actually, because I've been reading so much and doing stuff like that, I've actually got most of a bottle of wine left. So if you join us... Yes, thank you, Sparrow. That is exactly what I was thinking at the same moment. Exactly that. I need a comfort break. So yeah, let's do that. Let's sign off and jump into Discord in a few minutes. And all welcome. We'll have a chat and a giggle, and you can listen to me get very, very drunk as I finish my wine. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming along and joining us this evening. Thank you, Ewan, not just for your company, but also for your mapping skills.
Oh, thanks. It's been a pleasure as always. Sorry, I'm just going to get the Discord link. So We can all lick Discord. As Socks
Lick
says.
Discord. Yes, thank you, Socks. And well, yes, Sparrow, there is a certain amount of shameless flirting, but that's life, isn't it? We have competing Discord links.
Both should work.
Battle of the Discord links.
They should both take you to the same place.
Excellent.
One of them will definitely work.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming along. I hope you had some fun and at least giggled a bit at us being idiots and dying of rattlesnake venom because we were stupid. But that's what we're going to do. Yes, I'm feeling much better. Thank you, Socks. I'm feeling much better. And if you don't join us this evening, have a very good night and rest up for tomorrow. We'll hopefully see you online tomorrow night when Luke will be playing a game. And if not, he sometimes pushes it to Monday because Spooky Sunday is sometimes Spooky Monday. And
Indeed.
we will, whatever happens, see you around. Thank you for joining us and have a very, very good night.
Good night.